Hey guys, welcome to Rosie's Dessert Spot. In this tutorial I'll be teaching you how to make these 3 miniature cakes inspired by the unicorn cake fad. I have a 6-inch cake and applying some 4-inch cake layers with some buttercream. Once I have 4 layers, so 2 cakes in total, I'm creating the crumb coat to trap in any crumbs starting on the sides and then adding at the top as well and meeting it at the edge. I'll take my bench scraper and I'll go around just to even it off. And then with my spatula I'll clear up the top, bringing the lip of frosting to the centre. Pop that into the freezer for 10 minutes and then we'll create our final layer of frosting. That's some buttercream again on the top, pressing it out to the sides, making sure it's nice and flat. And then adding a very large amount onto the sides of the cake and scraping it down with my bench scraper. Going around quickly to even it off and then slowly to make it all smooth and neat. Then take your spatula and again removing that lip of frosting from the top and popping that into the freezer for another 10 minutes. In the meantime I have some yellow/gold coloured fondant and I'm rolling it into a cone shape and cutting off the excess. Pop a skewer or a toothpick in the end of the larger side and then let that dry. Now for the cat ears I have 2 circles that I've kind of rolled flat. And then I'm using my finger just to indent the inside to create that sort of domed 3D shape. Shape it around your thumb, making a pointy end at the top. And then I'm going to fill in the middle section with some pink fondant. Here I've used a cookie cutter just to get that general shape of the inside of the ear. And then apply it into the white fondant with a little bit of water. Cut off the bottom edge to make a more ear shaped like for the cat. And then shape them again at the top. Both of these will have some skewers going through, and then we'll let those dry just like the other one. For the final decoration here, got some white fondant again, and I'm indenting the middle with my small silicone rolling pin, and this is going to be the bunny ears, so they're a lot more elongated and a lot larger than the cat ears. Cutting out in that pink fondant again, just the general shape of the middle, and applying it with some water. Shape the bottom to be a bit more rounded and the top to be pointy. Again, pop some skewers in the middle and let those dry at room temperature for at least a day with the rest of the fondant decorations. Now we're going back to the unicorn cone. I've rolled out a little bit of that gold again, flattened it out with a fondant smoother, and now I'm applying a water, just rolling it around the cone. Starting at the bottom, and then trying to keep it as tight as I can, rolling it all the way up to the top. Once it reaches the top, pinch it off the excess and kind of press it in on itself to help remove any spaces between the little snake that we wrapped around it. Now I've got some piping tips, and I have a list of the piping tips that I used in the description box below, and just piping some rosettes and star dollops all around the top and the back of the cake. And I'm really just going crazy with this. There was no system, it was very random, and the whole idea is that you try to fill it in as much as you can using different shapes, different colours, and making sure that all the colour is dispersed around the cake evenly. You don't want too many sections where there's maybe too much green or too much pink, which is why it kind of helps to do this randomly rather than trying to keep a system. When it looks like it's got too much of one colour, go in with a different colour to break it up. Fill in the very, very back, all of it, and then just around the side of your front piece. Now that my fondant decoration's nice and dry, I'm applying them into the cake with the help of some scissors to really get them stuck in there. That's my bunny and my cat at the back. And then this guy I'm adding in just halfway, and that way I can paint it with some, this is bronze luster dust that I've added a little bit of alcohol to create a paint. If you can't use alcohol, try lemon juice instead. Pop it into the cake when you're done, and now for the eyes. So this is a 1M piping tip and I'm using it as a circle cutter. And then I have one of the smaller piping tips. You could use, for example, a 104 tip to cut out the middle. Cutting those in half to create the eyes, and then in 8, so 4 across each time to create the eyelashes. Pop those onto the cake, and you can do so with a little bit of water to help it to stick. Very similar to my Rudolph cake that I made, only this time I'm going to paint it in with the same bronze that I used before. And again, that's just alcohol and bronze edible luster dust. And I made it pretty thick. I didn't want to paint, I made more of a paste instead. Once that's painted in, you're done. That's how you make 3 miniature cakes decorated with the unicorn cake trend sort of decoration. I've also made a cat version and a bunny version considering Easter is coming up soon. And that's the tutorial for this Tuesday. Thanks guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial and have learned a little something new. If you do try these out, tag me in the photos. I would love to see your creations. And that's it. I'll catch you again on Tuesday. Thanks for watching.